Hello everyone. So in this session we will understand the features of soft body dynamics and we will also look at Bifrost inside Maya 2015. So let's continue. Now at first what I will do, I will just go to polygon and here we have the polygon features. So if you select any of them, if you change any of the panels as we discussed earlier, after assets, all the things will be changed from the top. That means each and every panel have their own property features and whatever you drag here, it will all come over here in attribute editor and in channel box to manage its feature. Dynamics has very much values and all, so you have to just go through it very thoroughly and you have to also practice quite well, then you can understand it. So that means whatever you see in this tutorial you have to practice it because we will undergo through many values and modifications. So let's continue. At first what I will do, will go to polygon and here I have the polygon. So at first we'll go to box. I will just maximize this particular section of uh, perspective and I will just drag a box, and after dragging what we will do, we will just put over here somehow over here. And so after dragging what we will do, we will go to mesh and here you have this smooth, so we will smooth it and after that what you have, this shape. So now what I will do, I will just double click it and now we have the tool setting of this particular move tool. You know better that if you press W then move tool will came, if you press E then rotation will came, if you press R then scale will came. If you want to go to its property features, just double click it and here you found the tool settings. So we will go to move tool and we have this tool setting features. So here what we have, if we go down then we have many more panels. So as you can see here, we will just go to vertex and select the vertex here, and there is the symmetry setting. As you can see here, symmetry setting, as we will go to world or just so we'll go to x-axis. Let's see. So you have the symmetry feature here, as you can drag now, because here you have the x-axis and here is the x-axis. So if I select this, it will just produce in the x because we are in object mode, and here is the x. If you go to y then it will produce somehow over here. If you go to z then it will produce somehow over here. So we will go to x and after that we will just off this thing. Now we will, whatever we will do here, it will automatically adjust it in the opposite direction. So I will make this particular thing more thick and kind of structure and go to object mode, and I will rename this. So for rename what I will do, I will go to window and here I have the outliner. So I will adjust this outliner here, and what I will rename, I will just give its name to blob, as it is kind of you can say viscosity, it has viscosity and it will have a jelly like structure. So I will rename it blob. Okay, now we'll minimize it. So we have outliner, and what I will do next, I will go to mesh again and will just go to smooth. Now this time I will not select this smooth here. I will go to its window panel. Here is the setting of smooth, and here you have the division level. So I will increase the division by 2. I think 2 is fine. Apply. As you can see, it's apply over here, and will cross the same and go to object mode. So let's make some much of more irregular shape. If you select any of the part, if you press B, then soft selection will came. As you can see, I am holding B button, and by left mouse button you can drag the size of your brush. So that means if you want to off the soft selection, just press B again, and if you want to on, just select any part, press B. Now if you hold your B and left mouse button, you can increase the size of your brush. So I can change little bit of it, and object mode. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of very irregular shapes, and it is a irregular type shape. And what else we have now, or we will go to modify, and here you have the freeze transformation. What freeze transformation does, it will just put all the value to 0 0 0 and only scale will have 1. So that means it will freeze to its position, and freeze transformation, as you can see, all the values has gone 0 and only 1 is there. Now what I will do, I will go to edit, and here you have one more thing to do, delete by type history. So it's very important to delete and clean its history. So now I will select this file, I will on my outliner, and here I have the blob. These all are for the 4 views of Maya. As you can see here, these are all 4 views of Maya. So here is the default light which is attracting over the surface and the viewport. There is the default object set. So this is called the object set tool, so we don't have to look at it. So we will focus mainly in the work. So what I will do now, I will just change my panel, will move this little bit, I think here. So just select it, I will change its panel to N dynamics. So we have two things, this is dynamics, and if all the things will come with the nucleus, all the things which come in nucleus, it has kept over here, which is N dynamics. That means nucleus dynamics. So I will just click over N dynamics. Whenever you click over N dynamics, you have all the features change at the top. So in N mesh you have create Ncloth. So I will just create in Ncloth, click, and now as you can see in the outliner, if I drag this, a nucleus and a Ncloth one has formed. This is the, you can say, the object feature of the Ncloth. This is also called the property feature, and this is the nucleus. As in bone we have pelvis region, and in dynamics we have nucleus. So this is the center of you can say modification, center of axis and all. So I will just minimize it for now, and as you can see, if I play, it is going down because we don't have just edited it. So we will use it, and make sure that your Ncloth has been selected. So it is by default selected, and this is the nucleus. What we will do now, we'll go to attribute editor, and I will just put somehow over here, I think here is fine. So we'll go to attribute editor, and in attribute editor you have two features, which is Ncloth shape and nucleus. So this is the Ncloth shape and this is the nucleus. All the property features related to its shape will come over here, and all the properties features related to its behavior will come in the nucleus. So what else we have? So at first we'll go to Ncloth shape, here you have the preset inside Ncloth shape 1. So if I click the preset, I need a daily like structure. So in preset you have many things, so I will just go to water balloon, and here you have the replace. So I will do the replace. Now it has been applied over here, and what else we have? And if you go here, we have the dynamic property. So there is a lot of more things. So the main things we will focus here, because there is a lot of more thing. You can keep on experimenting the things and you will get all the things. And so I will go to dynamics property now, and in dynamics property, here you have the input mesh attract. So we will not select this right now, we will discuss later words. What this will do, this will allow it and form some amount of jiggliness into it. That means random movement, or you can also say zigzag motion of it, and it will attract the nearby particles which gets collide into it. So we will use this later words. And now what I will do, I will go to nucleus 1, and in nucleus 1 there is more features. Whenever I am playing it, it's going down, so we don't need to go to the down. So what I will do now, here if I go down, you have the ground plane, and here is the use plane, so we have to check it. Okay, now there are lots more features. You have the scale attributes. I will open this, and what else we have? We have time scale and space scale. So these both are for animation purpose. So we will also discuss this later words after few times. So now I will go to Ncloth shape 1. As I have discussed that, we will just focus on this now. Input mesh attract. So I will put little bit of it, that means 0.1, that would be fine. And now we will run the simulation. Let's see what happens. As you can see, it's behaving quite well as compared to the previous one. See? So I will just go to the first frame. If you click here, you can go to the first frame. As there is a message window also, go to the start of playback range. Now what else we have? I will go to nmesh again. So here we have display input mesh. Here you have, click on the same, click, and after that what else we have? Okay, here you have the outliner which we have opened. Shape is all you see, because you need to make sure that you will rename each and everything, not this one but the main object, that would be fine. I will go to display mesh again. So now as you can see, there is a notes. So here you can read a water fillet balloon is simulated here by using the volume pressure. So we don't have to go to these message and all. So what else we have? Now simply in window, here you have hypergraph hierarchy. So we'll go here. Okay, I will close the same because it's opening the option. So okay, now we'll go to hypergraph hierarchy, and what else we have? We have blob, nucleus, and Ncloth 1. So this would be the output cloth, and this would be the nucleus, this would be the blob. So if I select the blob, as you can see, it's showing over here. If I select the nucleus, it will show over here. If I select the Ncloth, it will show over here. So this is very important. Hypergraph hierarchy is basically for doing connection internally. So we will discuss this later words, and it has all the subtools which is embedded in it, as you can see here. So it's basically the internal collection or the internal, you can say the link between the objects and the effects and all. So this is very important, as you can go over here also, or if you can over connect all the things in hypergraph hierarchy also. This is you can say little bit of typical, but it will show after when you open it, it will show block by block. That would be easy to find. Whatever you click over here, it will directly give the information, and in attribute editor the property feature will be came. So as you can see, we have output cloth 1, and okay, now we will animate the blob. So what else we will do, we'll just animate it. Before animation, make sure that whenever you animate, you have to look at your timeline. Now we have 120, so I did need at least 200 would be fine. And now for animation there is a hotkey which is S. As you can see here, there are the translate X, Y and Z, all are not activated, but whenever you press S button, all the things will be highlighted with you can say pinkish color. So here also your timeline gets animated, and I will go forward by 25 frame and will press S again, and will go forward at least 90 or 80. And what I will do, I will go to in I think here we have, I think in 200 we will just give the translate value of Z to around 14 units, and we'll just S the same. Now you can see it's coming. That means we will just give the translate value to 14, and we will just put S button, so it gets animated. So now play. I think it's fine. I will increase by 250 again. We'll select this. After 200 into 20, it will go around here. I think 8 would be fine. And press S for key, and we'll go up here. Press S, and we'll go up into here. Press S. So now we have a like bounce in and bounce back, and we'll stop at that point. So as we have animated, and we will also change the rotation also, so we need to edit the rotation. So I need to change the rotation from here. So I will put the value of rotation around I think 4 S. As you can see, it's rotating. We'll go up to here and just press 200 and press S. We'll go up to here, press 300, press S. We'll go up to here, press 150. So you can put random values. Press S. So I play forward. So I think the last frame we don't require. So let's see. Okay, now what else we have? We'll go to Nmesh, and again, but this time we'll choose the display current mesh and we'll play now. As you can see, it's updated. Okay, fine, we'll pause this. Now make sure that you're saving your file. So saving is very important. So I will just make a new folder. We'll name Maya Dynamics class, and we'll just make sure that whenever you're saving your file, you should have to save in ASCII. You can also save in binary, but sometimes binary gets corrupted, but ASCII will not corrupt. If there is a mistaken, then obviously it will corrupt the same. So ASCII will be fine, and I will just name this fluid underscore 001. Fine. Okay, now we'll go to attribute editor and Ncloth shape 1. So in Ncloth shape 1, you added dynamic properties as we discussed earlier, but this time we'll go to dynamic property map. So it will down of the dynamic property just below of it, and you can find over here. I will open it, and what we will do now, in dynamic property map we had much more things. So we will just go to wrinkle map type. Wrinkles means it has wrinkles, that means it has structure like irregular shapes and all. So wrinkle map, here you have the wrinkle map, and here you have the texturing panel. This is the texturing window. So we will just click over here, and now we have to put some noise. So for noise, I will go here. You have the noise texture. When you press the noise, now the noise panel will come. So in noise, you have time, which is very important. So it's need to be animated. So for I will start from here. So we'll select the time, right click, set key, or you also click by S, but it will animate all the things. So I don't need to animate all the things, because later words if I came to any of the panel, that would be hectic for me to just remove the same. So I will just only click on this point and will just set key, and after 0 to 30 is fine, and we'll go up to here and just put 5 on the keyboard at 30 frames. I think 50 would be fine. 5 and set key. Now it will change. So we have to define the particular space for the cache file to save. What is cache file? If you are simulating something, and if is what is simulation means, that means if you are working in effects and all, if you're producing anything inside Maya, it's need to store its data for further use. That means one time it will cache the same, after that the data will be saved to your computer, and you don't have to play one by one again. You don't have to just put your time in that particular simulation. You have the cache data, you have the, you can say, the rendered baked data. You can just run across the timeline and just see if this is possible. Now as you can see, this is getting not updated at the back, but it's getting updated at the front. That is not happen in the cache. So I will select the blob data. Here you can see the blob thing has been selected, and we'll go to there you have the ncache, and in ncache you have create new cache. So we'll go to its panel, and here you have all the things. So I have the cache directory user, that's my MacBook name, documents Maya project default cache fluid 001. So that is fine. You can just put your name, blob animation. So I just put it blob animation, and I think everything is fine. You don't have to just uh, one file per frame is fine, not one file, because it will generate only one image at a time. So I need one image per frame. That means we have 250 frames, so we need one image per frame. And time slider is fine. We don't need render settings now because we will do it laterwards. Okay. So it will just generate after one frames, every one frames, and before it and after it. So we will hit on create. Each and every panel is fine. Okay, once again we have to create it. Blob. Now it will run along. As I can play backward and forward, you can see it's running quite smooth. So that's the main feature of cache, and you have to rename it properly. So that's the main feature of cache, and now we will move further. So in next tutorial we will look more into its detail and its attribute editor, and we'll add some much more modification in this. So let's meet to the next session, and make sure that before going I will just save my scene data and just put another version in it, and because version is very important, and if you have created something wrong in that particular version, you can go to the previous version, or if your file gets corrupted at that particular version, you can go to the previous version and you can work for the same. Otherwise you have to make from beginning, so that would be hectic. So make sure that you're making your version. So let's meet to the next session.